Attorney-in-law Jen Walters, aka She-Hulk, is working in a prestigious firm's new division that specializes in superhuman law and employs mutants for various roles. She and her co-worker Pug invite Spider-Man to an unusual adventure, starting a legal crusade against infamous publisher Jonah Jameson and finally making him pay for years of defamation. But there's a more physical battle on the horizon as the villain Scorpion is also seeking payback. Having both Spidey and Jameson in the same place is a treat for him. He wants them both, so he turns to Alistair Smith for help. After all, the guy also blames these two for the loss of his father, and he's willing to help Scorpion. My Spider Slayers are at your disposal. The trial starts and the plaintiff's first witness is astronaut Jonah Jameson, J. Jonah's son. He's forced to testify against his father since he, among all people, is the first high-profile rescue made by Spider-Man, and he owes him his life. But Jonah went behind his back to publish his lies in the Daily Bugle, claiming Spider-Man sabotaged his son's capsule, effectively beginning to build his web of lies around the arachnid. If Spider-Man hadn't found a way to reach me, I wouldn't be here today. A police sergeant gives testimony of Jameson's continued pressure and false tips and accusations on Spidey, such as the time he tried to convince them and the nation about Spidey and Electro being the same. Jameson's assistant testifies how he tried to blame Spider-Man for a warehouse fire caused by Dr. Doom. Even the guy that sells Jonah advertising space for billboards across New York can talk about his untamed hate towards Spidey. The trial's not looking good for the defendant, and the next witness comes in swinging as people gasp, and the judge calls for order. Spider-Man is sitting next to the judge, and Jameson doubts his identity. How do they even know that's the real Spider criminal? So the whole swinging on a web thing wasn't enough for you, Chuckles? They have to use an Avenger-approved gizmo to verify his identity before continuing. Then Spidey goes through a list of Daily Bugle stories his lawyers compile for the case. All lies. Spider-Man then implies Jameson only hates him because he's black. He lets the tension build for a while, before declaring he's just joking. Everybody laughs. Jameson's lawyer tries to set a harassment precedent. All the time Spidey has webbed his office, suspended him from high places, or even asphyxiated him with epoxy. What about the most serious stuff the Spider's been involved with, like Captain Stacy's death? What about Gwen Stacy? Who's responsible for the existence of Venom and Carnage? No further questions. Take that, you web-headed freak. But Pug must handle the case by himself from now on. The spider sense is tingling, so that means Spider-Man and She-Hulk gotta go out and do superhero stuff. They team up to go against Scorpion, who's ready to wreak havoc on the city, and they need to know what's behind this sudden attack. Back in court, Jameson tries to imply that Spider-Man brings more trouble than he fixes. He believes he's the source of all the villain-related calamities they have to endure, but Pug puts him on thin ice, revealing his nasty affiliations. He's funded by the project that created the Scorpion and the Fly. And he's also responsible for the existence of those robots, the Spider Slayers. The Daily Bugle even has a long history of working side by side with known criminals and pariahs. Maybe you're the real menace here, and it's Spider-Man that cleans up your messes. After a few back and forth punches with the Scorpion, She-Hulk decides to use brain over muscle. She convinces him that the smart move to take revenge on Jameson is to keep away from the courthouse. He's about to lose millions and be officially discredited. He will be a nobody after such a fall. But Spidey didn't hear this, so he knocked him down anyway. Later that day, things got complicated. Peter Parker's been called as a witness. He makes the mistake of declaring he has presented fake photos to the Bugle. Pug wants to include Parker in the demand. He's also responsible for this huge defamation scheme. This is not good. Spider-Man needs to make a move fast. I want to settle, Pug. Spider-Man has to let all those millions go. He can't have his win over Jameson if Peter Parker is going to be indicted as a result. He just can't have his spider cake and eat it too. He's willing to drop all monetary damages and forego any future claims, on the condition that both Jameson and Parker hand out public apologies for one entire business day, while dressed in chicken suits. Jameson has to either choose the chicken suit or write a check for something around $300 million. And Parker, well, he must be content with having his identity unlinked from Spidey's. The end shows these two chickens in the street as Jameson swears revenge. Again.